What's up guys, it's Somi here and welcome to the latest Liverpool news, and in this video we will talk about Jurgen Klopp saying that he wants Steven Gerrard to succeed him as the next Liverpool manager. So what do you think about this? Do you think Gerrard would be a good Liverpool manager in 3 years time? At the moment he's doing very well, fantastic for Rangers. They have won all their games apart from losing to Celtic. They won their first Europa League game as well, and also they won recently in the Cup. So I think Steven Gerrard could be a decent enough candidate, but is it enough? Another 3 years experience for Steven Gerrard in Scotland, is it enough for him to take over at Liverpool? At the moment Frank Lampard is doing pretty okay at Chelsea. I'm not sure if Steven Gerrard would be, a success at Liverpool. Nobody knows that, but I want him to become a Liverpool manager one day, but I don't want that to happen too early, because I don't think Gerrard would get 2 chances to actually have a shot at this Liverpool manager job. So first let's listen to what Jurgen Klopp had to say about this whole issue, and also in this video I will talk about the Jurgen Klopp's reaction to the MK Dons victory and what he said about the young players, what James Milner said about the young players, and also Joe Gomez, Kiana Hoover and Kelleher, their reactions to the victory and how they played. So it's a really interesting video, so stay tuned for all the details that I will share with you guys. Leave a like if you enjoy these. And this is what Steven Gerrard said: if Liverpool were to sack me tomorrow, then maybe Kenny Dalglish would be the first choice to replace me, but they would probably bring Stevie down from Glasgow as well. And he was answering a question whether the presence of a club legend Kenny Dalglish as a non-executive director at Liverpool was challenging, and Jurgen Klopp replied, "Kenny and Steven Gerrard have both been a really big support from day one. Second, my position as a manager has nothing to do with the people around me. If Liverpool were to sack me tomorrow, then maybe Kenny would be the first choice, maybe Gerrard as the second choice. If you would ask who should follow me, I would say Steven Gerrard. I help him whenever I can. If someone gets your job, it's not about them, it's about you being not good enough. I'm old enough to know that if I give this job everything, I'm not a genius, I'm not perfect, but I give the club 100%. If that's enough, great. If it's not, then it's just the problem of the situation. I'm not jealous, I'm not skeptical, I'm completely open. If you want my help, you will get it. My family often thinks that maybe I'm too quick to open up, but I think being any other way is a waste of time. I love life, I love my job, I like most people, that's how it is." That's just a brilliant interview and great quotes coming from Jurgen Klopp. And he's saying that Steven Gerrard could succeed him, and he wants Steven Gerrard to succeed him. I think Steven Gerrard, of course, he knows Liverpool inside out. He is a club legend, and many Liverpool fans are worried, will that taint his legacy if he fails at Liverpool? But I don't think so. I think you should separate Steven Gerrard the manager from Steven Gerrard the player. Steven Gerrard as a player did absolutely brilliantly for Liverpool. He won everything but the Premier League title, and that wasn't his fault actually. Steven Gerrard was more than good enough to win multiple Premier League titles. It's just the players around him, not all of them were good enough. And of course Steven Gerrard, I think, is the best ever player to play for Liverpool in the Liverpool's history. I think how he elevated an average team and guided them to Champions League victory was nothing short of miraculous and remarkable. And if it wasn't for Steven Gerrard, I think Liverpool would have had a very average seasons when Steven Gerrard was actually a player. And I think that Jurgen Klopp is right. Steven Gerrard would be a very good candidate for the Liverpool manager's job after Jurgen Klopp leaves. It's still unclear whether he would just take a 1-year break and then come back to Liverpool, or just retire, or come back and manage the German national team, or somebody else, another club. I can't see Jurgen Klopp managing anybody else in the Premier League, but I can see him going back to the Bundesliga and maybe managing Dortmund or even Bayern Munich, or maybe managing the German national team. That could be an interesting job, because Jurgen Klopp probably wants to slow down a bit, because the Premier League, being the manager of Liverpool, is an absolute relentless job. You have to be on it 24/7. You don't get any rest, and during like the whole season. I think as a manager of a national team, it's a lot calmer. During, of course, international breaks, you are busy, but otherwise you have a lot more free time. You don't have to go to manage training and just to talk to your players every day. So maybe international management will be the future of Jurgen Klopp, but of course it's he who will decide this. And Steven Gerrard actually reacted to this news. He said that he was surprised but very flattered by Jurgen Klopp tipping him as the successor, as the next Liverpool manager. Steven Gerrard said, Jurgen Klopp's not getting sacked tomorrow. I don't want him to get sacked tomorrow. He's doing a fantastic job. And Steven Gerrard was asked about, of course, Jurgen Klopp's comments, and this is what Gerrard said. I was surprised and flattered at the same time, but when you read the quote really carefully, like I have said, it said, if I get sacked tomorrow, he thinks Steven Gerrard should be the next Liverpool manager. Jurgen Klopp's not getting sacked tomorrow. He's doing a fantastic job. I'm a Liverpool fan. I'm sure every Liverpool fan on the planet endorses what I'm saying here. We want Jurgen Klopp to stay at Liverpool for many, many years and bring as much success to our club as possible. But yeah, it was very flattering at the same time. So I think Steven Gerrard right now doesn't really think about becoming the next Liverpool manager. But of course, down the line, I'm sure that if he was offered the chance, he would take it with both hands, because he has been a Liverpool fan all his life. He has been playing at Liverpool since like he was 7-8 years old. He came through the ranks and he became the best ever player to play for Liverpool. So I think that Steven Gerrard would be an interesting candidate, but of course it's very difficult what will happen in 3 years' time or 3.5 years, because football moves very, very fast. And in 3 years you can't predict what will happen. I mean, just take a look at football 3 years ago. It was a completely different. Manchester City weren't this dominant in the Premier League. In fact, it was, Chelsea and Manchester United who were the dominant forces in the Premier League at that time. And of course, Man City was strong, but not as strong as right now. And also the transfer fees weren't as high as they are right now. The landscape was very different. And also, new emerging managers have been coming along since then. Frank Lampard, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Who would have thought 3 years ago that they would be the managers of Chelsea and Manchester United? So it's an incredible change. And in 3 years' time, it's equally unpredictable what will happen. What kind of new managers could arise? I think one strong candidate is Nagelsmann, the RB Leipzig manager who used to be the manager of Hoffenheim. He started at Leipzig this season and they are leading the Bundesliga, playing brilliant football. They just won 3-0 again away from home on the weekend, and they are actually ahead of Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga, and they had an almost perfect start, winning every single game they played apart from playing Bayern Munich. So it's very unpredictable. I just wanted to make this video to tell you guys what Jurgen Klopp said about Steven Gerrard and what Steven Gerrard reacted. I think it's fascinating. Also, the League Cup 4th round draw has been made and Liverpool got Arsenal at home. Also, Chelsea will play Manchester United. And what is also very interesting and unusual is, for the first time in League Cup history, there are no championship teams in the round of 16. Only sides from League 1, League 2 and the Premier League. And what is also weird is that two sides from League 2 play each other. Two sides from League 1, I think, play each other. Yeah, Oxford, Sunderland. So there will be one team from League 2 and one team from League 1 guaranteed in the quarterfinals, which is interesting. Also, if Liverpool could knock out Arsenal, and I think we are well capable of it, because Liverpool at home are very strong, even if we play our second team. But Arsenal also have some very good young players. They won against Nottingham Forest 5-0 with a lot of young Arsenal players in the side, and most of them got their first goals in an Arsenal shirt. Willock, Martinelli, other players, Reece Nelson scored for Arsenal. So Arsenal will be a tough nut to crack, but Liverpool are capable of winning at Anfield against anyone. And Chelsea, Man United, so one of the other big teams are out. Tottenham are already out on penalties. So I think it will be maybe Liverpool, Chelsea and Man City will be the three really big sides in the quarterfinal, and then the competition opens up. So I really want Liverpool to make a good run in this competition, because that gives the young players multiple opportunities to play, to grow, to showcase their talents. I just want to see Ryan Brewster, Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones again in action, because they played so well against MK Dons yesterday. Also, Everton-Watford is a tasty Premier League clash, just like Aston Villa against Wolves. Aston Villa are taking this competition seriously. They scored 9 goals in 2 games in this competition already, and they battered Brighton, I think, yesterday. Man City, Southampton, I think even with Man City's second team, they probably will win comfortably. Burton Leicester is interesting, because Burton knocked out Bournemouth 2-0 in a pretty straightforward game. But the biggest shock was Oxford United 4, West Ham 0. I mean, Oxford United, League One side, winning by 4 goals against West Ham, who just beat Man United, is just crazy. But that's why we love English Cup competitions. There are so many giant killings and so many crazy results. Also, Rochdale were a couple of penalties away from knocking out Manchester United, so that could have been a big shock. Chelsea Man United will be tasty, just like the Man United Arsenal game. I think it will be on Monday. That will be very interesting as well. And Liverpool will have a crazy hard October and November now. We will play Tottenham before the Arsenal game, and I think two games before the Tottenham game we will play Manchester United away. So we will have a 4-game run where we play Manchester United, a Champions League game I think against Genk, and then we play Tottenham and Arsenal. So that will be very interesting how Liverpool cope with that run. But I think Man United are a shadow of their former self, so we shouldn't be too worried about them, but we should take it seriously. I mean, last season Man United were pretty bad and we couldn't beat them at Old Trafford. So this season we need to get the 3 points at Old Trafford if we want to win the title. Also, Fulham, it looks like they want Liverpool to pay them £7 million in compensation for Harvey Elliott, according to Paul Joyce of the Times. Elliott, of course, joined Liverpool over the summer. No fee was agreed at the time, and Joyce actually said that there are no negotiations taking place. It's likely that the amount we have to pay will be decided by the Professional Football Compensation Committee. And this may remind the Liverpool of the recent dispute with Chelsea over Dominic Solanke. According to the Liverpool Echo, Chelsea wanted £10 million, but Liverpool only wanted to pay £3 million. And then the tribunal decided the pay, and it would, on the very early evidence, even the maximum £7 million for Elliott could eventually prove to be a bargain. I think in 2 or 3 years he will be worth easily 20-30 million pounds. And I think that really Elliott was very unlucky not to score against MK Dons. He hit the bar twice, and as a 16-year-old, it's just an incredible achievement to play so well for Liverpool's first team. Also, Kiana Höver wrote himself into the history books yesterday, not just Harvey Elliott. Harvey Elliott became the youngest ever starter for Liverpool, but Kiana Höver became the youngest ever defender to actually score. For Liverpool, he had 3 players before him who were younger who scored: Woodburn, Michael Owen and Rossiter, but none of them were defenders. So that's very impressive stuff. And also, Jurgen Klopp commented on Naby Keita. He said this: we don't have to decide it too quick on Naby Keita. He looked really good in moments, but he has to adapt to the position, and you see it with Oxlade-Chamberlain as well. Naturally, you move much more and find each other, and that is how it is In moments you saw what an incredible player he is, but we don't have to rush it now. We can use him now, and that is good. It is a long season to go and everything will be fine. And Jurgen Klopp was commenting on the game, and I just want to give you his thoughts on the young players, because it's fascinating, I think, how much Jurgen Klopp rates these young players. Very good moments, couple of individual performances. For 75 minutes we controlled the game, and then it was really tricky. Kelleher, to be honest, these games are there, so the balls show how good they are. For a goalie it's quite difficult in a game like this, but then being there, having not a lot to do over the whole game, and then having these kind of saves, that's absolutely brilliant. So I'm happy about that as well. We could have done better, of course, in that period. There's no doubt about that, but before that we controlled the game, we started well as a team, but then we got a bit stiff because we didn't score. An early goal would have helped. We have to force the goal then, obviously. The team tonight was a team with a lack of rhythm and a lack of experience. The most experienced and the player with the most rhythm was the best player on the pitch. Milner was pretty obvious, but it's so important that we still do these games, that we are brave enough to use the boys. We are not here with this lineup because we don't respect the competition. We are here to win the game, no other reason. We don't fly to London with all that stuff and then say goodbye. So I'm really happy that we went through. That's cool, and that the boys felt adult football as well. That's really important. Very physical situations for offensive players, especially. Not overly hard, but hard challenges, but still they could show in moments how good they are. So big step for them forward, and I'm really happy. All good. James Milner is setting such a good example. This man is on fire. That's how it is. It helps a lot. He's a role model for young players, Jurgen Klopp said. If he could play every day, Milner would be like this every day. That's how it is. Absolutely brilliant. And Jurgen Klopp's thoughts on Harvey Elliott. 16 years old still, and this kind of football is good. Really good for us. Brilliant boy. Takes the situation really well. Wants to learn. Tonight he will always be a special player for moments. But his overall performance, when you see him defending, when you see his moments, his movements are so smart. It's not easy to outplay him. That's really, really good. And his left foot is not too bad. A bit unlucky otherwise, he would have scored. Good player. They are all good. We don't have bad young players, to be honest. They are all really skilled. So that's why it's so important we can give them these matches. We will try to continue like this, and we will see. And on Kiana Höver's goal, it was a brilliant finish. I didn't play when I was 18 years old on a similar stage, so it was quite impressive. The atmosphere was good. It's a big stadium, a really nice stadium, by the way. I wish other clubs in London would have had similar dressing rooms. The very first half was very, very defensive orientated stuff. I'm not sure it was very often in the box, but when he was needed in the other box, he was there. And a wonderful goal after a wonderful cross by Milner. Absolutely good. And Jurgen Klopp was also asked, what is Kiana Höver's long-term position? Fullback or centre-back? This is what Jurgen Klopp answered. There is no reason really to decide that now, because for the moment he can play both for sure. Fullback is a little bit better for him in the moment. We have to see how he develops physically, because the centre-back is a very demanding position. You have to be physically 100% ready. He has the speed, he has the passing quality, crossing can be improved, but he has a lot of skills that are necessary or useful in the full-back position. He has speed, but in the things he has to be more natural, desire to go in the right direction, open up when you control the pass already, so that you see the pitch. There are so many things to improve, but it is normal. He's 17 years old, and if he couldn't improve anymore, that would be really strange. He has the most time, and hopefully use that together with him. We don't have to make these young players now quicker and bigger than necessary. They all are good, but there is no reason to say now if someone is not in the same level in this moment, then he's not there in a year or so. There is no reason. They all have the right environment, so we will improve that environment as well. We will bring in more manpower there, that we can really take care of these boys more. That's really important. We believe in them, and they have to make the next steps. I told them after the game, the last 10 minutes, these boys are naturally fit, but you saw it was not the game anymore. They lost it, and that's not okay. Then you see Milner is running around. You have to feed it on the pitch. That's why it's so important. Whatever I tell them, is not the same if they see it on the pitch. A brilliant interview by Jurgen Klopp. I just wanted to share it with you guys because he gave actually a very good assessment of the young players. I couldn't have even said it as well as him. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.